I'm going to make myself mad on today's show. We have hit the absolute dead period of the 2025 NBA offseason, and then the Luka article dropped over the weekend. And I said I was going to avoid talking about this as long as I possibly could. The day has come where we have to discuss it. So, welcome into the show. We're going to make ourselves all mad together, and we're going to try to reason this whole Luka Doncic thing and the article and what happened and everything that went on with that and how it pertains to the Dallas Mavericks. We'll get into all that here in just a moment, but hit that subscribe button as we are covering the Mavericks all off season long. Even when there's nothing really going on, we have you covered with the latest Mavericks news and rumors. Anything surrounding the Mavs, you'll find it right here on the channel. So let's hop into today's show. Welcome into Mavericks Today. Jeffrey Cooperstein here with you guys. Happy Tuesday. And the time has come where I've decided that I'm going to make myself mad here on the channel. And we are going to talk about the Luka Doncic article that came out in Men's Health, where he basically said that he is transforming his body and trying to get into the best shape that he has ever been in his life. And when you look at the cover, I mean, not going to lie, he does look in great shape. And there's the Men's Health cover if you haven't seen it already. There's like 3 articles in there discussing all of Luka's new habits when it comes to his diet, when it comes to his workout regimen, and all of that good stuff. If you haven't read them, you can go online and check those out. But there's been some just insane discourse surrounding Luka and the Mavericks and how everything ended. So I wanted to discuss that angle of things. And first of all, let's get this out of the way. 2 things can be true. We absolutely have seen this before during the offseason from Luka, where he looks to be in fantastic shape, and he looks like he's going to come into the season rolling, and then he hits a snag and something happens. Number 2, this time, it does feel different, and it feels like this time he's actually going to sustain that health and the in-shape, the body transformation that he's going through. It looks like this is actually going to be like a permanent thing for him. And if that is the case, it's just bad news. Dan Woike of The Athletic had this regarding the article and Luka surrounding the Mavericks. He said some sources in Doncic's inner circle believed he was on the path toward this kind of physical transformation, whether or not general manager Nico Harrison had bet against him. Dončić and his management team began working with Maček and Barrio in 2023. 1 year later, he helped carry the Mavericks to the NBA Finals. And that is the part that annoys me the most about the Dallas Mavericks trying to kind of slander Luka's name on the way out. When you look at what he did in the 23-24 NBA season, he started the season early because he played in the Euros with Slovenia, or the FIBA World Cup, with Slovenia. He played 8 games there. Then he played 70 regular season games. And then he played 22 playoff games. What is 8 plus 70 plus 22? It equals 100. Luka played in 100 games from August of 23 to the end of the finals in June 2024. Oh, and by the way, a week and a half later after the finals, he went back to Slovenia to try to qualify them for the Olympics, which they ended up not being able to do. So he played 102 games basically over that span. And we're going to act like this guy just wasn't in shape and he didn't take care of his body and this and that. You just don't do what Luka did without being in some sort of basketball shape. And I'm not going to sit here and say he was in peak shape. Like, no, he didn't have an 8-pack. And no, he didn't play 48 minutes a night. And he did have some injury problems. But we just can't sit here and lie to ourselves and act like this guy was in bad basketball shape. You just cannot do it. And I will not justify the Mavericks trading him by saying, no, he was out of shape and they had to get rid of him in order to see this transformation go through. Just not the case. I mean, just if you look at his career stats in 450 regular season games, he's putting up 28, 8 and 8, 47% from the field and 35% from 3, and and won a scoring title and has been a 5-time All-NBA player and led the Mavericks to 2 conference finals and a finals appearance. And if we're just thinking that this guy was out of shape and just wasn't going to ever figure it out, you thought wrong, because he clearly has. And look, did the trade give him some extra motivation to finally permanently figure this thing out? Maybe so. Did he need the trade to finally figure this thing out? Absolutely not. Dirk talked about just last week about how it took him 8 years to finally figure out his diet and his body and really get it in check. Well, Luka's heading into year number 8 in the league right now. So, did the Mavs mess up? I absolutely think so. They're going to have to deal with the consequences for years and years to come, maybe even decades to come, because a mad, motivated Luka Doncic, probably the best player in the world. Oh, and by the way, you know that this is going to come. If the Lakers end up winning a title at the hands of Luka, and Luka ends up winning Finals MVP and whatnot, Nico will be asked about it by the Dallas media, and you know he's gonna snarkily take credit for his transformation by trading him away, and that is just going to send me into oblivion when that happens. And look, man, it annoys me to absolutely no end, and I really didn't even want to talk about this on the show because I know as a fan base we're trying to move on, trying to usher in the new era of Mavericks basketball with Cooper Flagg and this team that we have right now that should be pretty good. It'll just never be the same. And I know what you're thinking at home, but Coop, we have to move on. Luka is gone from this team. You just never move on from this kind of thing, man. It's still the worst trade in NBA history. It is still the way the Mavericks handled it is one of the biggest embarrassments, in the history of sports. And I'll never fully recover from it. I just won't. Look, he was probably my second, maybe even my favorite player of all time that ever came through Dallas. And they traded him in the middle of the night without ever letting him realize his full potential here in Dallas. And I will just never be able to get over that from a sports perspective. And I don't think the Mavericks will ever be able to fully recover from it either. So here we are, Luka in peak shape here in 2025 offseason. But this time, it looks like it's for real. And the Mavericks better watch out because he might be ruling the Western Conference for the next decade with the Los Angeles Lakers, which, again, absolutely brutal. Predict the future for me, though. Who wins a championship first? Do you think it'll be the Dallas Mavericks, or do you think it will be Luka? Type M for the Mavs or type L for Luka. Let me know what you guys think down below. Maybe if the Mavericks fire Nico Harrison in a couple of years, it could be the Mavericks and Luka at the same time, and what a story that would be. But I'm just streaming at this point. Get your Kyrie Irving jersey today if you haven't already. When you go to chatsports.com/Kyrie, we have these on sale right now. We have them in all sizes and colors, courtesy of our friends at Fanatics. And when you use that link and go to chatsports.com/Kyrie, Fanatics will send us a part of the proceeds as well. So you're supporting the channel while going and getting yourself a Kyrie Irving jersey. Look, I want a Kyrie Irving jersey myself, and I'm going to go to that link, chatsports.com/Kyrie, and get mine soon because right now Kyrie is the best player on the squad. And I think he's done a lot of great things for the Mavs. So if you want to support Kyrie, support the Mavs and the channel, go get yourself a Kyrie Irving jersey at chatsports.com/Kyrie today. That link will be in the comments and description of today's show. We appreciate Fanatics for sponsoring this episode of Mavericks Today. Some Mavericks news here that we need to talk about on the channel as the Mavericks hired Ethan Sesson as president of the Mavs after spending the last 9 years with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And once the Timberwolves were sold to Alex Rodriguez and his business partner, Sesson left the Timberwolves and is hired by the Dallas Mavericks. And he is on the business side of things. He's not going to be on the basketball operations side. So he'll be more or less running the day-to-day business operations of the Mavs. And he's going to report to CEO Rick Welts. So that will be his direct boss. So you have Welts and Sesson on the business side. And basically, in summary, what this means is that the Mavericks get a guy to run the day-to-day operations on the business side so Welts can focus on the big picture projects, most notably trying to find the Mavericks a new arena because their lease does end at the American Airlines Center at the end of the 2031 season. So we have 6 seasons left at the American Airlines Center for the Mavericks, and their goal is to build a basketball-specific arena. The Stars aren't going to be involved in this new arena, so the Stars will either have to stay at the AAC or find an arena of their own. The Mavericks currently are in the process of identifying an arena site. We know they've looked in Irving. We know they've looked at spots in Dallas. I'm sure they've looked up north in Frisco as well. So the Mavericks don't quite have a spot yet for this new arena, but they are certainly in the process of that because, look, if they want to open this arena by the fall of 2031, they're going to have to break ground in the next couple of years or so. So that's why the Mavericks brought this guy in. They brought Rick Welts in for the sole purpose of trying to get this new arena built, and it sounds like he's going to be able to focus solely on that here as time goes on with the hiring of Ethan Sesson as new president of the Dallas Mavericks. All right, guys, that will be it for today's show. I appreciate you for letting me have this little therapy session with you guys today. I just saw the discourse online, and it just pissed me off, so I had to come here and vent and talk about it. I appreciate you guys, as always. Hit that subscribe button for the latest Mavericks news and rumors at youtube.com/MavsTV, and we'll see you guys soon here on the channel.